All right, American federal government. So I'm almost done grading everybody's essays in the assignment for chapter 12, I think it was, on campaigns, elections, and voting. For that assignment, and in fact, the last 3 assignments, I have documentaries for you to watch from PBS Frontline. That one was Plot to Overturn the Election. I need to address something that's come up, and I thought it would come up, and it's come up in the last 2 or 3 years. And that is ever since that Trump had perpetuated what effectively is a lie, that the election was stolen. So if you put in your answer, and be looking for this for the next 2 assignments as well, that the election was stolen or that it was rigged and all of those things, then I will count down for that, because that is not a factual statement and it is not true. And I know that many of you believe that, and I am sorry that you believe that, but you've been misled. And so I just have to address that directly, because as a teacher, just like a news editor, we cannot allow misinformation to spread, and we must stop it in its tracks. And it isn't just like, oh, that's Trump's opinion and there's Biden's opinion. No, it's not factual. And to further elaborate on this, first of all, Fox News had to settle $1 billion lawsuit in which then they had to admit that they had misled and deceived their viewers, because they knowingly had said that the Dominion voting machines had flipped votes, and that's not true. All the court cases that Trump had filed to try to overturn the election had all been thrown out, because courts deal in facts. But politicians, unfortunately, they're free to say whatever they want. And I do believe that most politicians do try to be factual, and they do try to tell the truth. What I really hate, and we can go on too about how these things are wrong. First of all, because of that, Trump faced the first bipartisan impeachment in history. And by that, a majority of senators, and Republicans and Democrats, voted to impeach him because of his role in the January 6th insurrection and the continued lies about the election, which is a very threat to our democracy. And now he's on trial for that, for criminal charges, because of these actions. And so it's just important that you understand what is fact and what is misinformation. What also is really sad is I read a lot of students, and this is true throughout the country, I read a lot of people have said, the whole system's rigged, the electoral college is rigged, the thing's all broken. I don't know, I don't believe Trump, I don't believe Biden, I don't believe anybody. And that is not true. But furthermore, you need to qualify that, because there's a lot of underlying things that go with that. But I hate that, because if you believe that the whole thing's messed up and every politician is corrupt, that allows for this type of misinformation to thrive and for conspiratorial things to thrive. Speaking of conspiratorial things, the next chapter is on the news media. Some of you, by the time I post this, may have already done the assignment. But the assignment is Frontline, the United States of Conspiracy, and Alex Jones. Alex Jones thrived in these conspiracies, crazy, wild conspiracies. And they're dangerous, they're problematic, because they're the same people that believe in these conspiracies, that the Sandy Hook was crisis actors in order to try to take away people's guns. And the parents of one of the worst atrocities. Imagine your first grade child had their head blown off. And people come up to them and say, oh, you're an actor, your kid's still alive, it's all fake. They, as you see in the video, they had to move, all because of Alex Jones. Again, Alex Jones faced consequences for his lies, because he lost another multi-million-dollar lawsuit, and they're going after every penny he has, and I hope they get every bit of it, because what he has done is terrible. And it's those same conspiracies that led to January 6th. So I'm trying to connect those things with you. And finally, in the last assignment I have, which rather than do another chapter, the last assignment, I have another documentary from Frontline called Lies, Politics, and Democracy. And this episode directly connects the threats that is faced for our democracy because of these lies, this misinformation, this distrust that it is sown in our 230-year history of our constitutional government. We've never had anything like this before, and it is it truly is an existential threat to our democracy. I know, as I've mentioned previously, in LaFleur County, 80% of people voted for Donald Trump. I would expect that the number is probably going to be the same in the next election. And so it's really hard for me to get through because we live in bubbles and people watch a certain media, they watch YouTube videos, they get information from other sources, and the videos I'm showing you is not in your bubble. If you're one of these people that subscribes to these conspiracy theories and thinks that the election was rigged, as something like 35% of Americans do and so forth, it's very difficult to pierce that bubble. So I know for you, you're watching this and you're probably thinking this is all biased and all BS and everything like that. But I promise you, PBS is a trusted media source. They are a respected news outlet, and they earn that respect by having responsible journalism and responsible reporting. And that's what actually Chapter 13 on the news media is about. Media literacy, understanding where you get your information from. That's more important that I teach you that than anything I teach you in American federal government. Because if you're getting your information from the wrong sources, you're living in an alternate reality that is not true. And that is the dangers that we face. And so, it is just so important. And obviously politicians especially love to attack the media and say, oh, the media is lying and everything, because they want you to believe them and not the media. Because the media often, as they did with Nixon, as they did with Lyndon Johnson and others during Vietnam, the media is a fundamental part of our government because they are the watchdogs. The Washington Post, which I read regularly, has a saying under their headline. It says the Washington Post, and then underneath it, it says, "Democracy dies in darkness." And I love that because that's what the media does. It shines a light. It awakens people to what's going on. And oftentimes the people that are doing misdeeds don't like it. Now, for most politicians, I do believe in our system. I believe the people that go into politics are doing it with their heart in the right place. They want to have public service, and I admire them and I pat them on the back because it is a heck of a thing to try to do. You're putting your name out there, people are going to criticize you and ridicule you, and I just have the greatest admiration for them. Yes, there are some that are corrupt, and in some ways that makes people distrust all of them, but I don't think most of them are, and I don't want you to think that they are either, because this is a system that works. Because if we don't have a system like this, we get a system like what Putin has. We get a system of authoritarianism and dictatorship. We get a system people don't have a voice. We get a system where the government tells you what to believe, where the government feeds you misinformation, and you don't have an independent press. You don't have the watchdogs of democracy. And I don't want to live in a system like that. I don't want that system for my children and my grandchildren, which is why I'm teaching this class, which is why I am so adamant about this. And that's why I'll count off if you make statements that are not factual. So I appreciate you listening. I hope you see how passionate I am about this, because I'm passionate about the Constitution. I'm passionate about our system of government, and I'm really alarmed by the distrust and the misinformation that is causing us to take a turn towards authoritarianism, which is unprecedented in American history. So thank you again. If you have any questions, email me. I'm always polite. I'm always kind, even when I disagree with you. And I appreciate it. Thanks.